All right, so down at the bottom left-hand corner, we have Optimus Prime spawning as our red Terran player. His opponent here in the top right-hand corner, tied 1-1 as a matter of fact, is the one and only 6jax ViBe. He is our green Zerg, and the map is Zelnog. As we pointed out before, this was Optimus's pick, so I would expect early aggression into a PF gold if and when the game actually goes to that point. But looks like you had a pretty good question.
Oh yeah, we mentioned on stream earlier that we were going to answer a question when we come back, so we got to do it. This is a kind of funny one. Wave of Babies 223 at Cat's Pajamas and at HD StarCraft. When is the Dong going to be playing? And I'm assuming he's talking about StarCraft 2, and I'm assuming he's talking about Jaedong.
No, actually, I thought he was talking about Dongre Gu possibly. So, but
it
if it's Jaedong, then well, we're all kind of like the Jaedong Flash Bisu era.
Yeah,
we're all waiting for them to switch over. But
who is the real Dong, Jaedong or Dongre Gu? Because I don't think you can replace the classic Dong, man, and that's Jaedong.
That's very true. So, if he was playing in these qualifiers, I would squeal like a little girl whenever I saw the games.
I wonder if he would be able to win. I mean, yes, he's really good at Brood War. It would take some time to transition, I think.
Oh, certainly.
I don't think right away he would be like A+, but after some practice he would.
Even though the yellow Code A qualifier thing was kind of cheesy out of GOM, I love what they're doing. I really do.
How did that go?
And so I've been okay, spoiler alert, yellow made it to round of 8 in his bracket at the Code A qualifiers. So he did well, but he didn't, you know, destroy everyone.
Well, also the thing is, Yellow, I mean, he was good back in the days of Brood War, but then after the Boxer versus Yellow era, he wasn't really as great as he was anymore.
He was about the Jaedong Flash era or anything like that. No, for sure. But 2 racks out of Optimus. Bam. Pretty predictable.
I like the opening here on Zelnaga Caverns. Applies some pressure to the Zerg, but ViBe didn't go for a 15 hatch. He actually went for the pool first. So I'm inclined to believe that ViBe will be able to handle this pretty well.
Yeah, certainly. ViBe is going to have out those nice early lings, and he is going to save up for pretty early Zergling speed as well. Almost has that 100 gas, and that's coming pretty quickly. See how many SCVs that Optimus wants to pull with this. And if Wave of Babies was asking about Dongre Gu, though, Dongre Gu versus MMA is going to be the third set that we do. We are in set number 1, Polt Prime versus 6jax ViBe. Up next, we have TSL Clyde versus MVP Genius, and then Slayers MMA versus MVP Dongre Gu after that.
I'm looking forward most to the Dongre Gu versus MMA set. I really am.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
It's going to be my highlight game of the day. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to Ace versus Rainbow as well. But I'm not a big Terran versus Protoss fanatic as much as I am a Terran versus Zerg fanatic, so
sure,
we'll see what happens.
And ViBe effectively getting his hatch blocked by Optimus, even as his queens pop out, so that hatch is actually pretty late. He already has out a few lings to go ahead and deal with pressure, though, and a second queen coming up, so with the extra energy from that, the delayed hatchery is going to make the second queen useless for a little while, so it'll just be used for creep tumors, so we should see, hopefully, pretty early creep spread out of ViBe.
I think ViBe was just, you know, he saw the SCV there. He decided to go the gas pool build and get the hatchery down on 21 supply. So, you know, he was able to reconstruct his build in such a way that it doesn't really delay too much. And he gets the hatchery down at the very least as well. But we do have Polt here pushing out with a lot of Marines, now revealing the 2 barracks if ViBe was in any doubt before. But because, of course, ViBe got that gas in the pull down earlier, he is going to have speed and a lot of lings out to defend against this. And I don't know if Polt's going to be able to do too much damage, although ViBe's got to be careful. He has to conglomerate all of his lings and surround and attack all of those Marines.
Yeah, this is that annoying situation that Zergs get into, though, at least that they're frustrated about. Nice round from ViBe.
Wow.
Doesn't commit to his attack the last second. That was actually pretty good. I mean, he wouldn't have had much of a chance with the speed links to be able to micro against that. I mean, ViBe had a pretty good response there. It was actually the exact number of lings that he really needed. So I was about to say it was getting to that point where Zerg players get frustrated because even if they hold off an attack pretty well, they're forced to stop droning and they have to overcommit to lings, and so economic damage is still done. But I think ViBe had a very good response there.
Yeah, I was just saying, what is Polt doing? Because he didn't even try to stutter micro. He just like left the Marines there, and there was an opening for him to back out and get the Marines out and do a little more damage and survive a little longer, but he didn't. But getting back to what you were saying, a lot of Zergs now not happy with the the 15 hatch against 2 barracks situation. I'm one of the Zergs that I don't 15 hatch anymore at all. 14 gas, 14 pull against Terran, and I do an 11 pull opening against Protoss. So I have a very aggressive opening now against Terrans and Protoss.
I like it. So you just try to win. Do you follow that up with a pretty good timing attack after that?
I'm all about high octane Zerg play now. I'm not about the passive style anymore.
I like it. Yeah. No, that's a good response.
It's been working out pretty well for me, man. Of course, the games end up really being short now, but that's okay.
Yeah, better to get it over with quickly enough. You don't want to go into like the multi-stage drop harassment period or Terran player choking you out by taking half the map or something like that. But nonetheless, here we go. Optimus has 2 bunkers in place, so he's going to be pretty well defended against any sort of Ling run bys. Factory coming up after this, and he is going into double gas with Stim coming up, so pretty predictable Marine tank composition. This is pretty much what I foresaw happening, although I thought that Optimus was going to be able to inflict a little bit more damage in the early game, and ViBe held that off pretty well. So,
well, we'll just have to see what Polt does in this game, won't we? He most likely is going to do that 2-base timing push again, although he is getting a starboard now, so going to delay his tanks by a lot, and he may be subscribing to the MMA style of mass all-out dropship, which on this map is a little more harder to pull off because the area outside of the main, there's not that much dead space. It's a pretty compressed map, so dropship play is a little bit harder to pull off on this map, I feel like. But Polt knows best, and we'll see if he's going to be able to do it.
Last week, and I struggled to remember what Zerg it was played against, so I apologize that I don't know off the top of my head. But Polt competed in the last qualifiers as well. Did pretty well, but he ended up playing bio style against a Zerg player, MMM straight up with a little bit of drop harassment and stuff like that, even against straight up Ling, Baneling, and things like that, units that were able to easily get surrounds and not be dealt splash damage, and he actually made it work. So maybe we're going to see something like that coming out now. He has just pure Marine medevac at the moment, but we could very well see a more varied bio composition coming out of him in a bit.
Well, if that's the case, then let's hope that Polt's Marine micro is a little bit better than we saw in the last game on Tal'Darim, because he did not micro his Marines at all.
Right.
And he did not spread his Marines very well, so that made it very easy for those Banelings to be extremely cost-effective. And I hope this time around, if he's just going to go with the pure bio ball style with the dropships, that he's more diligent with his Marine control. So we do have a Marine. One Marine at least has warded away the hatchery and delayed it for just a little bit, but that Marine will go down.
That's an additional.
We have 2 dropships moving around on the left side, but they encountered an Overlord.
And it looks like they're going to go ahead and pick up once again and return home. We already see a few units staggered all over the place for ViBe. He has a few Banelings to be able to deflect pressure in quite a few different places. But Optimus gained himself another 30 seconds there by delaying that hatchery for a good period of time, so effective little harassment out of him. And we actually still no tank follow-up quite yet, although the factory is now sitting on a tech lab, so we will see something along those lines in a bit.
I really like how ViBe is spreading out all his Overlords right now. You can see on the top left, his Overlords are kind of all moving out. On the bottom right, also moving out as well, just to catch all the ends and ins and outs of where the dropships may actually be going. These are all the dropship paths, so very smart play in general. Mutalisk now moving down to the south, could pick up the dropship on the left, and oh, Polt immediately seeing that with his lone Marine decides to drop off his Marines and not allow that dropship to be exploited in the air.
Yep, good move out of him. Those Marines stay alive. The Mutalisk don't do any damage, and here comes Optimus moving up. Now, he doesn't really have anything to outrange Creep Tumor, so he's going to be pretty exposed, although he could do a lot of damage to Mutalisks. He's going to have to watch out for these Banelings, and ViBe rolling down with the Banelings. There's another stim out of Optimus, but a lot of his units go down very quickly. He's not picking up because he's afraid of the Mutas. There's the split I was looking for, so we'll be able to trade cost effectively against a few of the Banelings. And it looks like he does manage to keep a good portion of his forces alive, but didn't get anything accomplished with that attack.
I don't know why Polt decided to go with this kind of dropship playstyle and not, you know, I just don't think it's good on this map. I really feel like the tank Marine style, the playstyle that he's been playing the first 2 games of this series is much better on Xel'Naga Caverns. And we just saw a prime example why. No tank support, Banelings can roll right in, kill off all the Marines. Polt's Marine control this game, not exactly the best, I have to say. And he's gonna have to figure something out because he is getting manhandled right now by ViBe.
I actually, and ViBe went ahead and picked off Supply Depot. I was actually wondering if Optimus was going to drop down another one, because if he didn't, little head games, you think you have that walled off when you actually don't, and ViBe could send out a Zergling attack or a Baneling economic attack or something like that later. Forces a stim out of Optimus there, but he has enough energy on his medevacs, it's not that big of a deal. But both the supplies are actually pretty close to each other still. Looks like we were going to look at a big 2-base attack or something like that out of Optimus, or at least that was his strategy, but now he's forced to put up that 3rd command center because of the way that Mutas have control of the map at the moment.
ViBe is building up a crucial amount of Mutiluses right now. He's joining 4 more into the fray on top of that pack of 11. And oh no!
That's no good.
That's pretty bad for ViBe, but it looks like he's going to try to go ahead and go for a surround here with all of his forces. And those Banelings coming over from the right. Where did those guys come from? And now all of a sudden Polt in a lot of trouble. ViBe could take the game right here now. Does he have enough Banelings to kill off all the Marines? It looks like he may have just barely enough, but those Marines hopping inside the bunker. That means Polt will be able to secure the natural possibly, but he's going to lose all of his forces outside. The Mutalisk will be able to rain chaos. Beautiful play by ViBe.
Oh my god. Optimus not deterred, though, still morphing this into an orbital command right away while it's sitting here, although he's going to need to send something out to go ahead and repair that in a bit. Waits. Nice patience actually allows his orbital command to get attacked, then moves out with a bunch of Marines. Oh my god, he just killed a lot of Mutalisks. That was a pretty big blunder out of ViBe. Looks like he was concentrating on something else at the moment. This bunker may actually go down, but now a bunch of Marines are being rallied in. My god, though, ViBe is still at a huge advantage, up 50 supply.
ViBe is doing great right now. I hope he goes with Killer Instinct style and continues to flood in additional forces into Polt's base. It looks like Polt has a bunker up there on the high ground. The bunker doing serious amounts of damage, and all the Marines coming out, and ViBe not controlling his speedos, ends up losing every single last one. But despite ViBe losing all those forces, I think he inflicted critical damage to Polt. At least he traded very evenly.
Oh yeah,
and of course, ViBe has an expansion in the background coming up at the side at 11 o'clock.
Although I will say about 45 seconds ago, ViBe looked to be in a lot better position than he did right now, because that supply advantage, which was 50, is now only at about 25 and actually falling. It's only at about 14 at the moment. So that was actually 20 units that were killed. Good split on the Marines. Takes out a lot of Banelings for free. So Polt trying to find a way to claw himself back into this. But that loss of that Mutas is huge.
Yeah, that was huge. His Muta count right now would be double cats, and that would be a much scarier force to deal with for Polt. But as it stands, Polt knows that the Muta block isn't that big. He can effectively push out and take the gold. And as soon as Polt can establish this third, we're going to see the Maniac Terran on 2 base go into Berserker mode on 3 base.
Yeah, certainly. But ViBe, if he's able to take advantage of the production on this base over here at the 10 o'clock position, it's going to look to be in a pretty good spot. People asking in chat why I'm calling Polt Optimus. It is because the highest ranked player on Prime at any given point in time is designated Optimus, so that's why I'm saying it. I know I'm using it a little bit interchangeably because it says Polt at the top, but he does go by the moniker Optimus while he is reigning supreme over at the Prime House.
He is reigning supreme right now.
Reigning supreme!
But he is not doing so well in this game. I have to say, not the hottest, at least.
Well, I don't know, man. He's come back and he's made a game of it. Now, if he
definitely
can
come back.
If he can actually, we'll take a look at these Mutas for a while. Looks like they're able to put the stop to a couple of buildings there, and one missile turret is going to force a stim and a few Marines to run to the side there from Optimus. But if he's able to hold this PF, I'm sorry, not the PF, but the orbital command for a while behind these bunkers and a couple of siege tanks, he's actually not just going to be back in this, but ahead, because ViBe is still not taking his gold.
We have Burrow coming right now for ViBe. Interesting. We may see some Burrowed Baneling bombs on this map, but really the map isn't as big as, say, a map like Terminus or Tal'Darim, where Baneling bombs are much more effective. It's kind of a high risk, high reward thing because there's less spots, or there's less spots for the Marines to be at since the map is so small, but since there's less spots, it also means you can pick off an entire army with enough Burrowed Banelings. So we'll have to see what happens where he's going to go with that Burrow. He's also getting Hive right now, and it looks like Prime back in his main. He is definitely ramping up production with a lot of reactors, but we have a lot of Banelings running right into the economy of Polt, taking out that gold expansion. Was it worth it, though? Because that is a high-risk, high-reward move. And right now, ViBe's Baneling count is a lot lower than it should be, and Polt has an opportunity to push.
I still think that was totally worth it, though, because he's still mining quite well off of his third. He's even got mining going at his natural, and he's switched over a lot of drones over to that 10 o'clock expansion as well. Polt's starting to make his way up, but that was actually a critical loss because he is almost mined out of his main. He's not doing any mining there, and now oversaturated at his natural. So ViBe is going to be able to starve his opponent out if he's able to continually re-deny that expansion. Polt makes his way up, though, and there's not a lot here to go ahead and defend against this. Looks like the Mutas were actually out of position. Now we're going to see that three-pronged attack as the Mutas swing in from the back. Nice job, Magic Boxing.
Oh my goodness.
And they are going to go right after the store and a good number of Marines as well, but it's not enough. And those Mutas are dying in mass.
Yeah, I don't know. I think ViBe sacrificing all those Banelings into that PF, yes, it's nice and everything, but if you're going to do that, you need to produce all those Banelings right away. And we saw in this attack, he just didn't have enough Banelings, and he lost almost everything. A couple Burrow Banelings get picked off as well. That was actually ViBe's hope right there. But losing his entire army right there. This is actually giving Polt a huge opportunity in this game. There are no banelings on the map at all, and those Marines are going to rip those Mutalisks to shreds.
Oh no, just 3 Mutalisks remaining in that clump of about 9, I believe they were sitting there, and the rest are now red bars. So bad position for ViBe to be in. He flies a Mutalisk over the rest. He's also dragging in the rest of his banelings, but Optimus already getting his Marines out of there and really didn't suffer that many losses. So now he's up by 50 some odd supply. There's the good game. Good luck in the tournament.
Oh no, ViBe just threw that game away, man. I mean, I kind of like the Baneling bust against a Planetary Fortress, realizing this is the staging point for Terrans against Zerg. Kill that, you have a great opportunity to win the game. But if you're going to sacrifice, 20 plus Banelings, you better hope that you're producing all those Banelings once again and you're reinforcing, because if you don't, that dreaded Terran counter push is going to be able to end your life.
Yeah, certainly. But there we go. Congratulations to Polt. He does make it into the round of 32 here at the IPL Season 3 qualifiers, week number 2. And hope you enjoyed those games, guys. We're going to go into another set in just a second.